Hello, guys. This is Chartist once again. I am here today to do a little bit of a lesson about trend lines and what we expect of them. And I want you to know and be mindful of my shortcomings. This is actually the first time that I am doing something like this. I have never done any broadcasting, no videos whatsoever that I can expose myself to criticism. So this is actually coming out of my comfort zone. I have been asked to get these things going. I am, as you can see, I am a little nervous, or here I'm a little nervous. But I hope that you guys are gracious with me and you bear with me as this comes to a more um, a little when as I get a little more accustomed to this, because again I never done these things, and I'm not trying to justify my lack of um, teaching skills, but I want you to know that I am trying my best to do these things, and I hope that one day I will be able to teach you something without mumbling so much or running out of words. But anyways, here we go. This is my first lesson ever, and again we're going to be talking about trend lines and their importance. And we have three types of trend lines, one being the minor trend lines, the intermediate trend lines, and the major trend lines. So let's dive in and see their characteristics. So, minor trend lines characteristics. They appear often in patterns like flags, pennants, etc. They are broken easily. They are short in length and in price. What I mean by in price is like they don't have a big range of price. They could be a couple, maybe 2-3% or less, and the length is short, like maybe in crypto, uh, maybe half an hour, an hour. I mean that's very common for crypto. You have multiple minor trend lines in one pattern, and this is something that I have put together. This is a bigger picture of trend lines and minor trend lines, but we're going to go over this. So these are all minor trend lines. As you can see, these are actually patterns, little patterns, but you draw the trend lines and those are easily broken. And the importance of understanding this is you don't rely on this to put your shorts or longs. You just uh, understand this, and you can actually predict if the price is going to go up or down based on the market that you are in. In this case, we started a little bull market around 10,200. It was yesterday, March 3rd. Actually, it was this morning. Uh, and then we are all the way up to 11,200 at this time. This is a live video, so I don't. I hope you understand that I'm not going to be editing anything, and the date today is what it is, and today is March 3rd. So if we go back to a little interactive, um, this is a minor trend lines as you can see, but let's take a picture on this one. I was actually charting something for this, so these are all minor trend lines. Let me just reset this chart real quick. We'll go all the way. Oh, anyways, I moved this. All right, let's just go back a couple of times. Okay, here we go. So these are all minor trend lines, as you can see. And as we jump over on the intermediate trend lines, we're going to understand them a little bit. Let's see. So what intermediate trend lines characteristics are? They appear in medium term rallies. They're broken less frequent than the minor trend lines. They are longer in price and in time. What it means is they go a little longer, maybe 10%, 20% in time in price, and they take a couple of days in time. You can have a few intermediate trend lines in one chart. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna see what I meant by a couple of intermediate trend lines. So as you can see, this is in all these trend intermediate trend lines, we have a this is a longer intermediate trend line, and these are considered smaller intermediate trend lines, or you can call them as well minor trend lines. So you understand when to enter and when to exit. And we are actually hoping to get on this, and I'm going to explain this chart a little bit and how I read this chart. So right now we are right here, and this is not Elliott waves, guys. Don't criticize me for Elliott waves. I got killed yesterday for this one, and I don't know why people think these are Elliott waves. These are patterns. Understanding patterns and Elliott waves, it's not the same. So please just bear with me again. This is not this is not Elliott waves. These are patterns, okay? And this is called Brodin bottom, just so you understand which one we're talking about. So anyways, we'll go back to this. So now we're having a similar scenario here. So this is consolidation period. And what I am hoping to see is we're going to bounce off this, or we're going to break this trend line right here. And my hope is that we'll go a continuation. So we go all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go a continuation pattern. This is not Elliott waves again. Or we actually break this down and we fall back into the actual what before was our resistance, now is acting as our support. And I don't think we are going to end up here. I do think we're going to end up somewhere in this area. And I'm going to tell you why. This was a very hard milestone for us to break, the 10,800 price. I was waiting for weeks to get to this point, and we finally got it. We got here a couple of times again. If you see, this is not a true breakaway because we only have 2% from the resistance. Um, Breakaway usually goes a little beyond that, which is about, I mean, 10% is it's fair enough to say, but this is 6%, which is pretty good considering BTC. It's just a little crazy. So what I am hoping to see is to bounce once again from this trend line and then go up here, bounce off this, and then fall, and then create a double bottom and go all the way up. Then this line will act as our resistance again, and we hopefully break this up, and then we climb on top of this, and then we continue our uh, trajectory on the way up. So this is what we have of as intermediate trend lines, and we'll go back to our slide. And this is basic. This is a very clean chart. This is not an intermediate trend line. This is actually a pattern. This is called channels. And this is also the Brodin tab that the Brodin bottom that I was talking to you about. This is not Elliott waves. So this is our intermediate, the longer one. And this is what I hope to see. And this is where we are today. And then we get to the major trend lines. The major trend lines characteristics are more consistent trend lines. They are reliable, meaning that we expect to bounce off them in any bear market. They are long in time and in length. I mean, in price, meaning that these are going to go for a long period of time. They are confirmed with 2 or more price bottoms. I'll explain to you what I mean with that. Once a rally has left the major trend line, it could take a long time before we retake its path. So let's go back. This is BTC actual chart, and we have bounced once, twice, and the famous last chart that we had, I mean, last price that we had was 5,800 around, and we bounced off. Now we are right here, right now. And if I have to be realistic, we could, yes, bounce off Let me just go to a little reset this chart again. This is all live video. This is not going to be edited. Just go a little 15-hour chart. I'm going to reset this. Okay, so here we are. Again, we're going to, so we have our major trend line. Should start right here somewhere. This is a different time frame, so it's going to act a little different. So this is our trend line. We have the 1, 2, 3, and if we go back, that's pretty much where we started our long major trend line. So realistically, yes, we can fall all the way back here, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, because we have so many major supports that we need to break to fall onto this trend line. But I do think that we will end up going in the future, touching this trend line again and maybe bouncing off this one. And this is for BTC. And let's see the way that we draw, how to draw intermediate and major trend lines. Um, the intermediate, the basically it's the downtrend lines. You draw them on the top of the price, and you can see we had 1, 2, and 3. That is, we actually broke out from this downtrend line. Now we're trying to break away from this resistance line, which is about 12,000. I mean, give it a take. It says 11,700. So that's where we are today. And the major upper trend lines, you draw them at the bottom of the price. And this is one that we are right now current with BTC. And the intermediate trend lines, you do the same thing. It's just the opposite. Like if you were to draw something from this, let me just get back to our chart. So if you were to look uh, an intermediate trend line for this chart, you'd actually draw it on the way down like this, because the price is what you're looking for. So this would be an intermediate trend line, and then we broke away. And then if you want to get another intermediate trend line, you draw it like this, and then we broke down from this, and now we are in this one. So we'll see where we end up with these ones. But that's the way that you draw trend lines. There are different ways to draw things. We have channels, which are, they don't act the same as trend lines. They are more to measure when to enter and when to exit. The trend lines are more to measure where breakouts or breakaways are. So this is all I have for you to tell you today. I mean, if you have anything to ask or to criticize, please do so. I am willing to take all the criticism in the best way possible. And I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope that you are in some way a little more with more knowledge than when you came back in. And this is just a very simple understanding of trend lines. This is nothing crazy. We're going to go into more depth studies about the market, but this is what I have to say. And just so you know, all this information was from for educational purposes only, and the material presented here were taken from my own studies. And if in the future I have any copyrights, I want you to know that I will give the rights to the owner of the material presented in my lessons. In this case, we didn't have anything, but this is all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share. And please, again, bear with me as I get more accustomed to this crazy live streaming online thing and video stuff. Thank you for being here.